Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so if your Sunday ritual still involves, wrestling with that old cable box to find the game, get ready because the whole system, the entire architecture of US sports broadcasting, it's basically collapsing and being rebuilt as we speak.
Yeah, it really is. We're talking about the end of that rigid, linear cable way of watching and this incredibly rapid move into a fragmented, really dynamic, and honestly, a much more immersive streaming world.
Exactly. And that monumental shift is what we're digging into today. This deep dive, it's based on a pretty detailed projection report. It maps out the trends, uh, the key players, and the technologies really driving this huge transformation, specifically between 2025 and 2030.
Right. Our mission here isn't just to rehash the headlines. We want you to understand the strategic why behind it all
Yeah.
and the operational how. How are they actually pulling off this massive market overhaul?
And when we say overhaul, we mean a huge amount of money flowing in. It's kind of staggering, actually. This whole industry is projected to almost double its revenue just in 5 years. We're looking at the U.S. sports streaming market hitting an estimated, $18.85 billion by 2030.
That's the projection. And what's really crucial for you to grasp here is just the sheer speed of this change. The overall online sports streaming market, it's projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 21.5%. That's between 2022 and 2028.
Wow, 21.5%.
Yeah. That rate tells you this isn't just some gradual evolution. This is a radical, pretty sudden power shift. And it's being fueled by, well, massive cord cutting, obviously, and this really fierce competition for exclusive digital rights.
Okay, so that immediately makes you wonder, right, who's pulling the strings now? If cable isn't the main gatekeeper anymore, where's the control actually moving?
It's moving straight to the source,
Yeah.
to the leagues themselves. We really have to start with the core strategic driver here, this massive shift towards direct-to-consumer models, DTC.
Right.
The big leagues, NFL, NBA, NHL, they're increasingly bypassing their traditional broadcast partners. By launching their own platforms, or at least tightly controlling the distribution terms, they get total control over three incredibly valuable things.
Okay, what are those?
The content itself, obviously, the monetization strategy, and maybe the most important one, the customer data.
Ah, the data. That control over data, that feels like the real strategic gold mine, doesn't it? Allows for all that personalization we'll get into later.
Exactly.
But let's talk monetization flexibility for a second, because it seems like the industry finally figured out that, one price doesn't fit all fans.
Precisely. We've definitely moved way beyond just the standard subscription model, the SVOD, like your ESPN Plus spread.
Yeah.
Now, services are using all sorts of hybrid models. You've got AVOD, that's ad-supported video on demand, which is crucial for platforms like YouTube TV.
Okay.
Pay-per-view, PPV, that's still absolutely critical for the big ticket fights, think UFC. But the report really highlights the strategic importance of these emerging fast channels.
Fast channels, right? Free ad-supported streaming TV. Why are leagues jumping on those if they don't bring in subscription money directly?
Well, it's actually a pretty genius strategic tool, primarily for reach. Fast channels let leagues put selected content, maybe not the live premium games, but highlights, classic games, shoulder programming out there for free. This helps them grow their reach, bring in new audiences who maybe wouldn't pay for a full subscription right away. And importantly, it dramatically boosts ad revenue from viewers already used to ad breaks. It's like building an audience funnel.
Got it. So it's promotional, but it's also its own revenue stream. Okay. Now, looking at that nearly $19 billion projected market value, where's the money really concentrated right now? Which sports are pulling in the audience and the cash?
Yeah, the field is definitely not level there. American football, the NFL, is just the undisputed king, no question. It holds a commanding 40% audience share in streaming right now.
40%?
Yeah, and it's generating somewhere between $10 and $11 billion.
Yeah.
That dominance is just huge. Basketball, the NBA, is strong too, naturally. About a 35% audience share, pulling in around $6.9 billion.
Okay, and then the third big one, MLB baseball. It has a decent audience share, 30%, but the revenue share is way lower, right? Only $1.96 billion.
Right.
When you see that kind of gap, high audience share, but much lower relative revenue for baseball, what does that tell you?
It really underscores that the battle for streaming dominance is fundamentally about securing that top-tier, high-perceived value league content. Exclusivity matters.
It confirms that platforms need that must-have content to justify their whole business.
Exactly.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the competitive arena. Because if the leagues control the content, the tech giants and media companies are fighting tooth and nail to be the ones delivering it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the snapshot from mid-2025 is really telling. You have these massive players. Prime Video leads the pack in subscriber count, around 130 million. They're known for things like their interactive stats overlay and, of course, that big NFL Thursday Night Football deal, plus WNBA.
Right. And right behind them is Peacock. 100 million subs. They've carved out some really important niches, haven't they? English Premier League, WWE, those exclusive Sunday Night Football games sometimes.
Major rights. And then you have Apple TV Plus that's smaller, maybe 45 million subscribers. But look what they did. That landmark, all-in strategic play with the exclusive MLS Season Pass. It shows how a huge tech company can leverage total exclusivity to really drive sub growth.
That was a big move. You know, one platform we definitely can't ignore here, even with fewer subs, is YouTube TV.
Oh, definitely.
About 9.4 million subscribers, yeah, but it holds the incredibly valuable NFL Sunday Ticket exclusively. That gives it massive pull during football season. And people seem to really like its cloud DVR feature.
Right. The whole landscape is just incredibly diverse. Ownership runs from legacy media companies trying to adapt to pure play tech platforms.
And those owners, they're making these huge strategic moves that really signal where the market's headed. The sources detail this DTC expansion from the traditional players.
Yeah, we absolutely need to talk about ESPN's new flagship service.
The report flags the launch date, August 21st, 2025. This is massive, right? Because ESPN is finally launching its full direct-to-consumer service, delivering everything, their cable channels, their digital content straight to you, the consumer, basically cutting the cord on the cord cutters themselves.
It's a huge step. But look at the NFL ESPN equity deal. That shows an even deeper strategic entanglement. ESPN gets NFL Network, Red Zone, the fantasy assets.
Okay.
But the NFL gets a 10% equity stake in ESPN in return.
Whoa. Okay.
This isn't just licensing anymore. This is the content owner, the NFL, demanding and getting actual ownership in the distribution platform.
That's a really key insight. So the NFL isn't just selling its games for a fee. They're actually vesting themselves in ESPN's future streaming success. They get a permanent seat at the table.
Exactly, to shape strategy, capture ongoing profits.
Right.
It's a different game. And we see other high-value content making exclusive moves too, like the WWE. Starting in 2026, their big premium live events, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, they'll stream only on ESPN's new DTC platform.
And the price point mentioned is $29.99 a month for that ESPN service.
Yeah, that's the reported price. Which raises that big question for everyone, doesn't it? Is streaming just doomed to become as expensive as the cable bundles we were trying to escape?
Or is the value of that super premium exclusive content like a WrestleMania still high enough that people will pay that monthly fee? It's a real tension.
It absolutely is.
And speaking of the consumer, these strategic decisions, they directly tie into who is watching. The demographic insights are pretty clear, ages 18 to 34, strong preference for streaming, and they're really engaging with more than just the live game. They want integrated betting, personalized highlights, social media clips right there in the experience.
Definitely. But the growth isn't just limited to younger viewers. The 45-plus demographic, their weekly streaming viewership is growing steadily, consistently. They might still be, influenced by traditional TV ads and habits, but they're clearly being pulled into this new streaming world by the sheer convenience and availability of the content they want.
Okay, let's connect that demand for integrated features, for flexibility directly to the tech that's making it all possible. Because this is where it stops being just about business deals and starts being about fundamentally changing how you experience the game.
Right. And the foundational tech is just so crucial because it has to solve those classic live streaming headaches, latency and scale.
The lag.
Yeah, exactly. The rollout of 5G is probably the biggest single game changer here. It promises the higher speeds and, crucially, the reduced latency that's absolutely essential for a smooth, high-quality live feed, especially if you're doing things like multi-view.
And on the back end, you need stability, right? Things like hybrid CDNs, content delivery networks, and edge computing.
Yeah, which basically just means putting the servers closer to where you, the audience, are actually watching. That dramatically cuts down on lag and helps ensure the whole system doesn't just melt down during, say, the Super Bowl halftime show.
Right, peak moments. But what about the tech the fan actually sees and interacts with? What stands out there?
Well, the rise of immersive viewing is really shifting from cool future idea to standard feature.
Like multi-view. That's becoming pretty common now, isn't it?
Widely adopted, yeah.
Yeah.
Fans are basically becoming their own sports bar directors, customizing their screen, watching 2, 3, and maybe even 4 games at once on a single display. That level of personalization requires serious bandwidth and low latency.
And then there's the next level of immersion, VR, virtual reality.
Exactly. Headsets offering these in-stadium experiences.
Mm.
You can virtually sit courtside at an NBA game
Hmm.
or watch an NFL game from like a 360-degree first-person view. It's a completely different way to watch compared to the standard broadcast camera angles.
And my personal favorite tech here, AR augmented reality enhancements. Imagine using smart glasses or even just your phone or tablet to overlay real-time player stats, heat maps, maybe tactical breakdowns, right onto the live game on your screen.
That transforms watching from passive viewing into something much more analytical, more interactive.
Totally.
And all that data from multi-view choices, from AR interactions, it all feeds back into the platform, which allows for incredibly advanced personalization using AI and data
So
analytics.
the platform learns what you like.
Precisely. Delivering hyper-personalized highlight reels, custom live data overlays, even tailoring those fast channels specifically based on your viewing history. That level of personalization, that's the ultimate hook for keeping you engaged and, crucially for the platforms, keeping you subscribed. Retention.
Okay, let's pivot one last time to the final big structural shift, the one that tackled a really long-standing frustration for sports fans. Geographic
Ah,
blackouts.
yes. Local to national streaming, or what the report calls rights evolution. This is a fundamental move away from those rigid geography-based broadcast licenses that drove fans crazy for years.
And it's a direct result of the collapse of the regional sports networks, the RSNs, right?
Absolutely. Those are the local cable monopolies that used to control the in-market TV rights for most teams, often leading to blackouts if you lived in the wrong place, even if you paid for cable, and generally high costs.
So as RSN cable subscriptions plummeted, teams and local networks basically had to find another way. They had to launch their own DTC streaming options to get that revenue back.
Exactly. And the benefit for you, the fan, it's potentially huge because this trend is starting to dismantle that geo-blocking. It allows fans to watch their home teams live, even if they live outside the traditional local broadcast area.
The report mentions MLB as a key example here.
Yeah, Major League Baseball allowing certain out-of-market games that used to be blacked out locally on the national package to be streamed nationwide now, either through MLB TV or maybe partner apps. It gives the fan much more freedom to watch their team, regardless of where they happen to live.
That shift in licensing is great for fans, great for reach, but it must put an intense technical burden on the platforms themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. They need to manage incredibly complex subscription plans, monthly, yearly, single event PPV, maybe team-specific passes.
Right.
They had to handle the scheduling for potentially dozens, even hundreds of live streams simultaneously. And they need sophisticated analytics tools to track exactly what every single user is watching, how they're engaging, what features they
The
use.
technical hurdles are definitely significant.
They are. But the reward is clear. Owning that direct fan relationship and getting access to those billions and billions in projected market growth.
Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive then. The transformation we've talked about, it really seems to boil down to three core things. First, that mandated move to direct-to-consumer for total control over content and, crucially, data.
Right. Second, the massive projected revenue growth that comes with that control heading towards that $18.85 billion by 2030.
And third, the required adoption of immersive tech, multi-view, VR, AR, because that's what fans are demanding now for a personalized experience.
Exactly. This really isn't just about media switching formats from cable to streaming. It feels much bigger. It's like a radical redefinition of the whole relationship between you, the fan, and the league or the team. You're gaining unprecedented personalization and choice.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought for you to mull over. Given that fans can now, virtually sit courtside using VR, customize their screen to watch 4 games at once, get real-time AR stats overlaid, how does the physical in-person stadium experience need to fundamentally change? How does it maintain its unique value, its magic, when the digital experience at home is becoming so incredibly sophisticated and tailor-made?